to our very first live weekly training. Every Thursday night Central Time at 6 o'clock, we'll be coming to you for 20 to 30 minutes doing a live training. You can, on TikTok, you can ask us some questions. You can bring in anything that you'd like us to address. But one of the things I want to talk about tonight is leadership and communication. Why am I passionate about this? Why does our page exist? Why does our company exist? And what do we do? I grew up in the Church of Christ and was around leadership there my whole life. I grew up as an athlete, and that gave a whole different side of leadership. I grew up with a father who was very much a natural leader. I grew up in a family that was filled with leaders. And when I was young, I got lots of different models of what leadership looked like, what leadership meant. And it became clear to me at a very early age that leadership was a varied topic. I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as someone who is a leader and someone who isn't, in the sense that somewhere in your life you have influence. John Maxwell is one of my favorite authors and a mentor to me. I'm part of the John Maxwell team. And John Maxwell likes to talk about the fact that leadership is simply influence, nothing more, nothing less. So the question, therefore, that he asks everyone is your influence intentional? See, every single one of us has people that we influence. And the moment you walk into a room, or by the way, don't walk into that room, you've influenced what's going on there. If you are a known entity in any relationship or situation, you're influencing the culture, you're influencing the personality of that group of people. You are bringing a skill set, you're bringing an attitude, you're bringing a point of view. So everywhere we go, everything we do, we have influence. And if you have influence, you're leading people, you are affecting people. And that's what leadership really is. So if you're one of those people who would say, oh, I'm not really a leader, well, maybe you've never had a leadership position. Very often, people will have the conversation, oh, I just became a leader last week. And really what they mean is that they were given a leadership position or a leadership title. I remember one of the first times I was referred to as a leader, right? It would have been in a church setting where I had been asked to volunteer to serve in different ways. And we were told you're having a chance to lead. I remember at a very young age playing sports, being encouraged, oh, you be a leader, be a leader. And what they meant in that idea wasn't to serve, it was to work hard. What leadership meant in that particular example was to be an example, right? To have the right attitude and the right work ethic, the right effort in order to model the type of behavior that a coach was looking for. And they referred to that as leadership. So when you think of leadership, what do you think of? For me, I'm passionate about the topic of leadership, and I'm passionate about learning to communicate better and better and to learn to be a more effective leader, because I feel that everyone has a responsibility. Every single person has a responsibility to be the best version of themselves that they can. See, I'm not responsible for what other people think of me. I'm not responsible for that outcome. I'm responsible to try to influence what others think of me through my behavior, but I'm not responsible for whether or not you like me. I'm not responsible for your behavior. I'm not responsible for whether or not someone else takes my advice, ignores my advice. I'm not responsible for the failure and success of others. I can't control the outcome of the world around me. But what I can control is me. What you can control is you. And some people have different skill sets. Everybody has something that's special just to them. Maybe you have a really high IQ. Maybe you're an engineer kind of thinker. Maybe you're a data processor. Maybe you're in software or hardware. Maybe you're a teacher and you're really good at building relationships and conveying information. Maybe you're a CPA who's really good at details and tracking things. Maybe you're a preacher whose primary goal in life is to love others and show the love of God. Maybe you're an artist and you love to draw, or you're a musician. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. See, each and every one of us is created in the image of God. Every single person is created with a purpose in this world. We're created with dislikes and likes. We're created with things that make us excited and passionate. We're created to bring something to our family, to our business place, to our workplace. We're created to bring something to the world around us. And the truth is, there's no reality to what's big and important and what's small and minute. Every single person brings a piece of humanity, and we're all needed. And every single one of us can bring our best version of ourselves. To me, that's the most important piece of leadership, is first leading yourself. Understanding who you are. Understanding what not only do you like, but what are you good at? What's your skill set? What's your God-given talent? You've heard me say this before, but my sister, Sarah Thiessen, I also happen to be a huge fan of hers, even though she's my sister, but she regularly talks about what she refers to as what's your freak show. See, all of us have something that just feels really easy. It's just natural to us, and we can just do it. We can just do it well. Where for many people, that thing that's easy for us looks impossible to them. They'd rather get hit by a truck than have to be a public speaker. And maybe public speaking is easy for you. Maybe they could never draw something if their life depended it, but you can just draw and create. Maybe they could never sit down and do that data work or a CPA or handle math or engineering or cast vision or coach someone, where all of these things for you, it's just easy. That's your freak show. So the most important thing about self-leadership is finding the skill set that we're naturally gifted in, that we can just do easily, that we also can develop a passion for. See, discipline, learning to be a disciplined leader, bringing discipline into your life is important in leadership. It's important in our life, not because we want to discipline ourselves away from something negative. It's that we want to use discipline to create consistency, to call ourselves towards something positive, towards our skill set that we can be excited and enthusiastic about, so we can get better and better and better at what we're already good at. See, self-leadership has to do with the 80-20 principle. You want to spend 80% or more of your mental, emotional, and spiritual and physical energy into what you're good at, not into your negatives. Successful people aren't balanced. They're not good at everything across the board. They don't spend a huge amount of their energy figuring out how to fix their flaws. Overcome your flaws by living in your strength. That's part of self-leadership, is being disciplined enough to be willing to let go of the control of the weaknesses in your life, get help with those things from people who are naturally good at them, so that you can spend time in your strength. When we spend time in our strength, we become more enthusiastic. We become more effective. We get better and better and better. Another John Maxwell thing that he loves to talk about is that if you can take the average person and we can improve ourselves by about 20% in any given area. So if I'm a 2 out of 10 in certain areas and I work really, really hard and I improve myself by 20%, I become a 2.4, right? I didn't improve all that much. But if I'm already an 8, and I improve 20%, I've gone to a 9.6. So the better I am in something, that's where I want to develop myself in. Self-leadership is huge. Now let's talk about communication. Once again, communication isn't about people who are good at it. Everyone has to communicate one way or another. And in today's world, a lot of people like to communicate through text, through WhatsApp, through TikTok, through posts, through emails. Even texting and phone calls are going away. We're trying to get more and more and more and more concise with our communication. And I am a firm believer that the less you learn to communicate well, the more frustrating your life's going to be. One of the biggest frustrations for all of us comes from misunderstandings. When I have to defend myself for being accused of something I didn't say, or I brought something to the table that was ignored, if I don't feel seen, needed, heard, wanted, understood, these are basic primary needs of being a human being. We all need to feel included, wanted, heard. We have this natural thing to be part of a tribe. And even if you're the kind of person who really likes to stay solo, at some point you need other people to interact in order to make your life work. Communication is important for everyone. And I remember in school, we would learn the basic reading and writing and stuff. Remember having to conjugate verbs and all that kind of stuff. We would get taught how to know the structure of communication, but we didn't really get taught the skill sets of what would be needed in everyday life. For example, you ever had a conversation with someone and the entire time while you're talking to them, their eyes are over here looking for someone else? Or they're oh, yeah. Oh, and they're distracted. Communicating is also listening. They're not engaged. When someone's not engaged with you, you feel like you're not important. They come across as rude. You don't connect. You don't connect with one another. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and the whole time that you're talking, they're going, what? They just can't wait to tell you their point. They're not listening to you at all. Communication is not happening. Everything you're saying is bouncing right off, man, because they can't wait to tell you their side. On the other hand, have you ever had a conversation with someone who just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and never stops to listen to you? Have you been in a situation where you're being asked to communicate your thoughts, your emotions, your opinion, and you can't feel like you seem to get it out? No one understands you. You can't put your thoughts together. You can't figure out how to get something from here to here to where it gets heard and understood by the other person. See, all of us struggle with communication in different ways. And communication isn't about public speaking. That's part of it. Public communication isn't just about writing, although that's part of it. Communication isn't just about a conversation between those people, although that's a part of it. Communication is in our face. Communication is in our body language. Communication is in our actions. See, if we go back to the idea for a moment that every single person has a responsibility to be the best version of themselves that they can, which the easy way to say that is, are you doing the best with what you have to work with? If you're doing the best you can with what you have to work with, you're going to have a pretty happy and pretty successful life. When you're not learning to communicate, when you're not learning to connect with other people, when you're not learning to self-lead and work on yourself, when you're not learning to live in your strength and look to serve and bless and positively influence other people, when we're not doing those things, the opposite fills in. See, when I'm doing the best I can, when I can sit and look at myself in the mirror in the morning and trust that I'm doing my best, confidence comes. Peace comes. Happiness comes. When I'm not doing these things, stress comes, worry comes, anxiety comes, depression comes, self-doubt comes. How many people in your world, for you personally, including yourself, are drowning and feeling overwhelmed? and feeling stressed, anxious, worried, out of control, overworked, underappreciated. Every single one of those emotions is important and it brings people down. It prevents you from being the best version of yourself. So it's a catch-22. When I'm not working on being my best, I get brought down by all these negative emotions, which makes it even harder to be my best. Because I lose confidence, I lose self-value, I lose self-worth. I lose that part of me that God created to be special. On the other hand, when we can acknowledge that I'm made by a God who loves me and knows me and cares about me, and therefore I have a responsibility to do something with that, to honor him, to honor that I'm here, that I happen to live, and I have things I do, love to do, and I'm excited about and passionate about. And I work on learning to communicate with people, learning to connect with other people. I work on learning to lead myself, to show up on time and bring my best and be prepared, to find my skill set and find ways to bless and honor other people with it. Now, confidence and happiness come. Friendships come, connection comes. A feeling of self-worth comes. I build value in myself. Leadership and communication are the basic building blocks of how to be a person. And I felt like for much of my life, I was really lacking if anyone in my world teaching me the basics of how to be a person, how to lead myself, how to communicate with others, how to build relationships, how to resolve conflict, how to be a person and get through the day and find the areas in my life where I was needed, wanted, and seen. Does this sound familiar? I got out of high school and got out of college and I started getting into this self-help world. And what I learned and what I found was a lot of selfishness. It didn't land with my heart because of some of the intent behind some of the self-help, self-empowerment stuff. So please don't hear me saying that that's what I think is important. Because as a Christian, as a believer of the fact that Jesus Christ is the risen Son of God and the Messiah, and it is in through him that we are able to have the Holy Spirit and have a direct relationship with God, I honestly believe that God made you to be important and to be loved and to be needed and to be seen. And if you are another religion or if you are not religious at all, I love you anyway. Please don't bail on me because I have a point of view you might not agree with. But I bring this up to tell you that because I truly, honestly believe that Jesus died for you, that Jesus rose for you, and that Jesus is alive and well today and cares about you, knows you, I want you to hear that you have value. You have people around you you can connect with. You can bring into your life love, joy, peace, happiness, purpose, grace, forgiveness, love. When you choose to accept you've been created by a God who loves you and wants relationship with you. When we get to that place, it brings an inherent value in ourselves. It brings value in ourselves. And if you feel valued, other people will see your value. When you trust that you were created for a reason, created to do something in this world, it's going to give you confidence and enthusiasm and joy, and it's going to bring success into your life. Success isn't just about money. Success isn't about a job. Success is purpose and intent and value to other people. We are fulfilled when we serve others. Which brings us full circle back to leadership. If leadership is influence, I cannot influence if I'm not looking to serve others. If my influence is negative and it is selfish, that's not leadership, that's manipulation. When people ask me sometimes, well, how do you differentiate between your wanting to influence something and influence something positively for others? Well, it's all about your motive. If my motive is to help others, I'm leading and influencing. If my motive is to help myself, I'm manipulating circumstances. And that's not leadership. So when we look to lead ourselves first. When we look to lead others, we look to serve. How do we serve? By positively influencing, by connecting and communicating, and by bringing the best gifts we have, the best skill sets we have to other people, to honor them, to encourage them, to bless them, to serve them, to bring things into their world they might not be able to do on their own. And even if they can do them on their own, I can do it for you still. Everybody likes to be appreciated. Everybody likes to be encouraged. Everybody likes to be complimented. Everybody likes to be included. The best way to receive those things is to first give those things. So, power under training. This was an intro to who we are, what we believe. I say we because it's not just me. We have a group of people here that are working to serve through businesses, we're looking to serve through churches, looking to serve through coaching and training, through public speaking. We are here for you. And if we can work with you one-on-one, with your community, with your team, with your family, with your church, with your company, with your group within your corporation, we go big and small and everything in the middle. And we're trying our best to start to cast a wider net. For almost 10 years now, Live on Purpose Training and Power Under has been out here in the world working with small groups at a time, from churches to corporate and individual coaching. What we're trying to do right now is cast a wider net to have more positive influence on as many people as we possibly can. So if there's ever anything we can do for you, if you have a question, if you have a struggle, if you have a comment, if you have an idea, if there's something we can discuss with you one-on-one, contact us. Send us a message, right? You can get in our comments, you can get in our DMs, we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. If you have a small group that you would like us to do some training with or some coaching with, we would love to help you. If you have a speaking event where we can come and do some training and some speaking and bring something positive into your world, whether it's private or public or corporate or whatever it might be, we're here for you. We would love to be able to serve you. As you get to know us here at Power Under Training, and again, my name's Charles Burke. Once you get to know me, everybody calls me Chuck. Once you get to know who we are, we hope that we can build some trust and respect with you so we can earn the right to have some positive influence in your life and serve you in any ways that we can. I'm so glad you were here with us tonight. We'll be here every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Central. I hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for your time tonight. God bless. Go out there and serve Power Under, be greater than every single day, and live on purpose. Thanks for your time.
8 more minutes of just whatever. Here, actually, while it's live, I want to check something.
Wow.
I just need to be live. It doesn't hurt anything. This is what I want to see.
Am I still on or not?
Yeah, you're still on. Okay, this one ready for the future. I'll put it here. Perfect. So, where does it show me viewers? Does it?
I need you to go back to me live. Okay, so we have a few extra minutes here, and actually a question had come in that into us to talk a little bit more on the communication side. So I'm going to answer a couple comments that came in today, and I'm going to focus just for a few minutes on a concept of conflict resolution. So Power Under. I mentioned the name of our company a couple of times as Power Under Training. What does Power Under mean? Okay, so let's go there for a minute. Particularly the term Power Under came to me through conflict resolution, is where I first kind of coined this idea. And what I mean by power under is simply the opposite of power over. So our world tends to teach us power over. And what power over means is that my first thought is to win, right? Particularly in conflict resolution. I want to make my point. I want to win. I want to be on top. Power over means I'm controlling someone else. I'm managing, I'm controlling, I'm fear based, I'm keeping others down in order to lift myself up. Power over is a negative thing. It's about making sure that I'm getting my peace, my respect before others do. It's about getting credit and placing blame. Power over is what our world usually tends to be used to. And it comes from a place of fear, it comes from a place of control, it comes from a place of scarcity. When I only think there's so much opportunity and things are limited, selfishness arises. And power over is really based in selfishness. So we practice and we teach and try to do the best I can to live with a mindset of power under. So what does power under mean? Well, power under is about faith. It's about having a good opinion of others first. It's about putting other people before me. It's about making sure that others are good, counting on the fact that if I can bless as many of the people as possible, I will be taken care of 10x times. Power under is about giving other people credit. It's about giving the benefit of the doubt. It's about assuming good intentions until I've been proven wrong. Power under means, to make it very simple, I'm going to educate to equip. I'm going to encourage to empower. Okay? Hang on to that thought for a second. I'm going to educate to equip. What does that mean? Well, there's one thing to educate, to just give information to someone. But when I educate to equip, I'm teaching someone and giving them resources that allow them to do things on their own, for their own benefit, for their own reward, to contribute and grow something for them. I'm educating to equip for them to be able to do something. I'm not just giving information so they do what I told them to do. I'm giving them what I like to call healthy ownership. I educate to equip. The second part of power under is encouraging to empower. Okay, it's one thing to encourage someone. I remember to go back to my youth for a second, playing sports. We'd get encouraged. You can do it, go, go, go. But it was for the coach's benefit. It wasn't for mine. It was not for our glory. It was for their victory. It's because they demanded it. It wasn't because they deserved it. Power under would say, I'm going to encourage you so that you are empowered to see the version of you that you could be, that I see in you. I see skill sets. I see passion. I see ability in you. I want to encourage you to empower you to live into your power, your excellence, your skill set, for you to develop inherent authority, so that you can make a difference in your own life and again have healthy ownership of the process of who you are, so that your results will change. In order for your results to change, you've got to change. Power under is all about helping everyone around us thrive. It's about helping everyone around us learn and grow and improve so that they can change the results in their life. That's how we influence people. I cannot create your results. I can help you change your process so that you can change your result. You have to be responsible to power under in yourself, be your best version of yourself, so you can go to others and encourage, serve, educate, equip, encourage others, empower others to be their best version of themselves. That's what power under is all about. When we live in power under, we realize there is more opportunity and more time and more money and more love and more joy. The world is created by an infinite God. who can do anything he wants to, anytime he wants to. But he doesn't just pull strings like a puppet master. He instead gives us the opportunity to live into his power in the Holy Spirit, to allow him to work through us in our lives and bless other people. There are so many things God wants to do through you, so many things God wants to do for you, but you've never gone and asked him. You've never gone and said, what can I do to make a difference in my world? What can I become? Who can I be so that I can have a greater influence and a greater impact? Power Under is about owning this idea of infinite possibility, of abundance in your life, of abundance of a God that's bigger than you, that can do things in his name through you for others that you can't even fathom. Power Under is all about understanding when we make it all about other people, our life can change quickly, our life can change dramatically, and our life can change and bring in significance. And significance is the key to living a life that's worth living, to living a life that makes us happy and enthusiastic and wanted by other people. And when we live in that way, other people want to be around us. Other people are blessed by us, encouraged by us, brought up by us. When we're that person, which you have to choose to be, you have to choose to be that person. When you do, you will find the world around you just opens up, and more opportunity and more opportunity and more opportunity. Connor, do we have any other questions that have come in? How are we doing on time?
We're good.
Okay. So again, Charles Burke, you can call me Chuck, Power Under Training. We'll see you next week, next Thursday, 6 o'clock Central.